Are you ready to get casual? Grab your favorite adult beverage or combustible plant and join us for our roundtable TTRPG discussion. Oh yeah, it's time for Casual Friday. And now, here are your hosts.
Ryan tried to Sam Regal me right before I hit the button. What's up? I'm Jim. That's Brad. That's Ryan. And this is Casual Friday. We are the Landlocked Morlocks, and we are going to be talking about what's going on in the tater pig industry. Hey, Phil, what's up? Phil's here right at minute 0. Congrats, Phil.
You win, Phil.
You win. Phil wins for the day. First up, I want to say that later on, maybe 45 minutes from now, we're going to be talking about spoilers for a Critical Role episode last week. But we're not doing that right now, so we'll let you know when the spoilers are coming up. But so let's get into the news. And this is in the area of not a whole lot less news than it seems like. But the almost complete release schedule for 2026 is out, and most of this is stuff that we already knew, like the Feywild Job, Fiction from CL Polk, Baldur's Gate 3, Necromancy of Thay Notebook. This one looks pretty dope. We already knew about this. Official Baldur's Gate 3 coloring book. I don't know if we knew about this or not, but sure. Arcana Unleashed, we knew about this. Arcana Unleashed Deadfall, the adventure that goes along with it. Baldur's Gate 3 Astarion, we learned about this is also fiction. We learned about this a couple of months ago. And also newly announced is the Dungeons & Dragons Encyclopedia by Random House. Includes A to Z of the D&D multiverse, numerous monsters, characters, locations, settings such as Forgotten Realms, all the things. It's written by some people. And I don't know. Let's see how much it is on the pre-order. $60 for a hardcover. $20 for Kindle.
It's a coffee table book.
Feast for a 10-Day, the official Baldur's Gate cookbook. I don't know. I have the 5e cookbook because it was gifted to me. I do.
Heroes
yeah.
Feast?
Yes, Heroes Feast. I flipped through it, and then it's been in a drawer in my kitchen ever since. I'm not going to make meat and gruel or whatever's in there. Melf's Guide to Greyhawk. I don't know if we had this cover before, but it is suitably old school.
Definitely has the old school vibe. It's not Larry Elmore's art, but it kind of looks like his work. They're definitely trying to capture that vibe. Oh, it's Jeff Easley.
It does say Jeff Easley, yeah.
It's Jeff Easley. That's even, yeah. He's classic. He's an old school. He's one of the 4 big names in D&D art.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the ever-rumored Dark Sun source book, which is not confirmed. I'm not convinced it's happening. But that's it.
Believe
really,
it when I see it.
Yeah, it's really just the cookbook and the encyclopedia are the only new additions. And we still don't know what's happening in if we go back to the seasons. The Season of Champions, we still don't really know what that is. Still waiting.
I posit that we will know a lot more in 5 weeks' time. I think Gen Con is when they're going to come out swinging and say something probably less than we expect. I want them to roll out, the 2027 roadmap, but odds are they'll just finish the 2026 roadmap at this point. But yeah, I am saying Gen Con will see some sort of announcements.
It'd be nice if they gave us like a whole year. Like if they finished the 26 roadmap and gave us the first 2 quarters of 27, that would be nice.
Yeah, I wonder if part of it is waiting to see how well the seasons do, because I'm sure they've sunk a lot of resources and promotional juice and money into these seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably part of it.
But really, there's going to be, if they do 4 seasons a year, really, it's the concept is just they're releasing by quarter, right?
Yeah, but there's a
concept
theme,
is-
man. There's a theme.
Yeah, there's themes. They rebrand the website. They have all these themed releases, and the biggest thing is probably the Dungeon Master's actual play that's tied in very specifically to the seasons. So
Okay.
that's all has to be scheduled. Those people are probably not cheap, you know.
Right.
Neil Newbon is kind of a big deal now. So I don't know.
And they got
I don't know.
the
Dark Sun
drops.
confirmed. We'll find out at Gen Con.
Question mark. I want to know more about Deadfall because I don't even know if it's a big adventure book. Is it going to be 30 pages of like an encounter and a map? Like we don't have a big new adventure for D&D 2024, and it is 2026. And is this the first one? Question mark. I should know if it's coming out in less than 3 months, but
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be a hardback adventure book, and this article says they're not sure. So, I expected it to be a hardcover adventure because we haven't had one for 5.5, right?
0.
Described as an adventure expansion. Haven't they been using that word? Was it expansion? Because they stopped saying campaign setting, and they were using a different word for it. I think they started doing it with Dragonlance, I think. Anyway, I don't remember. You guys don't remember, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. Remains to be seen. For Red Wizards of Thay, adventure was announced back in March 23. That'd be cool. We haven't gotten maps of Thay in quite a while.
no,
Yeah.
there's a world where this is awesome. There's a world where it's the D&D next playtest material with a coat of paint on it. Like I have no idea.
Yeah, like if this is a full-blown hardcover that does Thay justice, that'd be pretty cool. Of course, we haven't seen them do justice to Spelljammer or Planescape or Dragonlance, so
We can only assume Dark Sun's going to be great.
I'm just
All signs
here
point to.
for I'm just here for the internet rage. That's gonna just like both. No one's gonna be happy with Dark Sun. People are gonna be clutching their pearls, and other people are gonna be shaking their spears because it's not something enough, and it's just it's gonna be a shit show, and I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I mean, we live in a world where you can't do anything without somebody being pissed off about it. But you know, I mean, Wizards of the Coast has really dropped the ball on a lot of their recent products, and it's just a bummer because like I want to like this game. I grew up loving Dungeons and Dragons.
Indeed. Well, moving on. Speaking of other games that people love these days, the Origins award winners, the Game Awards, the Tabletop Game Association, and the Academy of Adventure Gaming Arts and Design. That's a long name. The Origin Awards 2026. Gateway Game of the Year, Railroad Tiles by Horrible Guild. Party Game of the Year, Hot Streak by CMYK. Light Strategy Game of the Year, Winter Rabbit. Heavy Strategy Game of the Year, Speakeasy. Cooperative Solo Game, Lord of the Rings, Fate of Fellowship. Role-Playing Game of the Year, Land of Eam by Exalted Funeral. Yeah, it's getting a lot of press, and Brad's is a big fan. RPG Supplement of the Year, Call of Cthulhu, The Sutra of Pale Leaves. Miniatures Game of the Year, Blood Bowl 3rd Season. I don't know what Blood Bowl is, but it sounds cool. Just from the name, I think I'd be into it. And then a bunch of other stuff.
Blood Bowl is fantasy football.
Yeah, it's like Warhammer football.
Yeah, it's Warhammer Fantasy. It's the Warhammer Fantasy setting, and they're playing football. So you pick a team just like you pick a faction in Warhammer Fantasy. So, I can play the ogres, Jim can play the goblins, and Ryan can play the humans, and we're all going to play football against each other. It's a game that goes back like a couple of decades, I think. So, but this is the newest edition, and people are really excited about it because it's been in the vault for a while. Games Workshop hasn't given it love until now.
So the two most relevant things to our discussion, probably Land of Eam and Cthulhu, the Sutra of Pale Leaves, Twin Suns Rising. So I don't know a whole lot about Land of Eam. Why don't you guys educate me?
Ryan, you want to talk about the setting, because that seems to be your jam.
Sure. Well, the tagline, I think it's the official tagline, otherwise it's been adopted, is Lord of the Rings meets the Muppets.
Nice.
It is just that weird, wonderful, fantastical, like kind of anything goes, but at the same time a very bespoke focused, like, yeah, you're a cute little frog dude, but you have 8 hit points and you're gonna die. And like that appeals to me. I like that. I like that a lot. Some interesting mechanics. I don't know the mechanics as well because it's on the list of games I really want to play and might never play because I need other people to agree to play it with me. But every Tuesday I walk past it. The big, beautiful the box set is on the shelf in the game shop, and it looks super nice. And maybe if it was a single book, I would have purchased it already. But
yeah, the apparently they're also, the setting is also used for a series of kids books. The Dungeoneer Adventures books are a series of D&D-esque kids stories, and it's in the same setting as the Land of Eam RPG. I learned that when I was doing my homework on it. But Jordan, the PH is Silent, recently made a video on Land of Eam, and he declared it his favorite role-playing game, which is high praise, I think. But it's got 4 stats: Vim, Vigor, Knack, and Know-How. So Vim is like your charisma, Vigor is like your strength, Knack is your dexterity, and Know-How is your, like wisdom and intelligence. So, and it's old school, like Ryan was saying, in the sense of like hit points are low, the math is tight, it's easy to play. So it has that kind of old school deadliness to it, but it has a whimsical, campy setting. So your Muppets can die.
I feel like people don't talk about Vim and Vigor enough as much as they used to. Phil's working on 5e rugby.
Nice.
if I were to expand that to 6, I would add Grit, which I guess is Con. And then Moxie, but that's also charisma.
Grit, Moxie.
But Moxie's a good one.
Yeah.
Moxie's a good word.
Chutzpah is another good one.
Oh, chutzpah! You're speaking about, yeah.
There was actually an RPG back in the day that had chutzpah as a ability. I can't remember which one it was. But the character classes in Land of Eam, you can play a gelatinous goo. Their goblins apparently are like human sized. Their goblins are more like hobgoblins, and then they have little goblins called boggles. And they have bugbears that are playable, gnomes. They have a quartle with a QU, which is very much a turtle. They have wallen, which are like whale creatures. You can play a skeleton too, or an imp. So there's, and that's not all of them. There's a whole bunch of kind of wacky ancestries you can play. But there's only 6 character classes, which I thought was interesting.
I find like you're going to get people making jokes. I've seen a lot of folks get disappointed because they're trying to bring their serious, typically like the novella that they should be writing instead of running a game with, but whatever. People are kind of like bummed out or wrong-footed by their players bringing the goofiness. But if you like start there, then when your Muppet is lying in the mud, dying, having an epic, heart-wrenching moment, like that's the Dungeon Master Jiu-Jitsu there of like, all right, yeah, you want to be a weird skeleton guy with a funny hat? Sure. Yeah, let's get all that out of the way. That's built in. That's in the DNA of this thing. We're playing a game. We're having a good time. And oh, now you're feeling feelings. Didn't know it was coming, did you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching Dark Crystal for the first time.
Mm. I do like that the support class is called the Loyal Chum.
Mm.
It says play a loyal chum if you want to be the party's glue, boosting allies, and always useful in a pinch. That's great. I like that it's very upfront, like because there's the person who wants to play that, the person who wants to play the support character. Very easily spelled out.
Yeah, yeah. It has the
Samwise.
degrees of success system too. So, based on a D12. So you have complete failure, failure with a plus, success with a twist, success, and complete success. So, I don't know. Obviously I haven't played it yet, but I don't know if you need that many categories of success.
Mm.
That's just my thought. But it looks cool. People are raving about it, so we'll see how it fares. I figure this has to land somewhere in the middle of the popularity. We recently had Bob's Big Survey, which I think is officially what I'm calling it now, Bob's Big Survey. And in that, the two D&Ds, 5 and 5.5 and Pathfinder were at the top, and then you had the big chunk in the middle with all the YouTubers games, Shadow Dark, Nimble, MCDMs, Draw Steel, and Daggerheart, right? Those 4 were kind of in the middle of the survey. I wonder how Land of Eames gonna squeeze in with those 4 as see how popular it's gonna be.
We'll see.
But it's off to a good start, getting Game of the Year from who are they?
Exalted Funeral?
The Origins
Awards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. So, moving on. Recently, speaking of those seasons that we were before, the Ravenloft book, I believe is out now. Yeah, it's out now. I didn't buy it, but there is an article about the Reanimator Artificer subclass, which I think we looked at the UA. I think maybe, but I was looking through this article describing the features, and I don't remember most of this, but that's not uncommon with me. So where is oh yeah, there's your little guy. So the Reanimator is an artificer dedicated to studying the laws of nature, etc., etc. The core feature of the Reanimator is the reanimated companion you get at level 3. This is the crux of what you'll be doing, using it kind of like a Drake Warden Ranger, or a Beastmaster Ranger, using a magic action to create a reanimated companion with its own stat block, etc., etc. Here's the stat block: AC 10 plus your int, 5 times your HP, 5 times your artificer level. Good con. All the other stats are pretty bad. It can death burst. A 10-foot emanation, 2d4 necrotic damage, and if it gets hit with lightning, it restores hit points. And then its action is a dreadful swipe, 1d4 plus your int modifier, necrotic damage, bonus equal to your spell attack modifier. Okay, so that's at least pretty good. 1d4 plus int, necrotic, and no opportunity attacks until the start of its next turn. Which could be pretty useful. That could be pretty useful if you're in a jam, if you've got a couple enemies and you forgot to prepare Thunderwave today, and you need to get away. And let's see, there's the Reanimator skill set feature because you modified Spare the Dying cantrip. This is the weirdest part. When you cast, it becomes a jolt of electricity that heals the target for your hit points equal to your Artificer level, and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet to save or be hit with 2d4 lightning damage. So it's a cantrip, but it can heal people. So you can heal someone with a cantrip every turn. Is that right? Am I understanding that right?
you can heal your dude, or you can heal anyone. It's funny when I read that I might have I like made it in my mind that you were healing your Frankenstein's monster because he likes
Maybe-
lightning. But
yeah,
if you can heal anyone with a cantrip, that's pretty. I don't know. I'm not mad about it. If I'm doing damage at the same, it's a little OP.
Yeah, a cantrip that heals and does damage at the same time. That's got to be only for the your bot, your little robot guy. Or
probably.
It's so funny how like my brain dismisses D4s. It's like, it's only D4s. It doesn't matter. It's just a dagger. It doesn't. No one's gonna do it. It's just like that's like not that much less than a D6, man, and that feels significant. I was like, yeah, but I hate D4s. I don't want to touch them.
So at level 5 and 9, then you get you modify your little guy. You can give them act as a conduit to cast spells from. Give it a swim speed and can deal acid damage. So you can just buff up your guy a little bit. Casting spells from it, I mean, is pretty great for extending range. One of the most useful features of having a familiar. You know, even though your familiar's only got 2 hit points, you know it can only take 1 hit, but if you can get off, you know, that extra range on a spell, it can be pretty useful. Then level 15, we don't care about. No one's ever going to get to level 15. This art's pretty dope. I would like to play this guy.
I like. Oh yeah. Phil's coming through in the clutch.
Yeah, Phil says that ability can only be used on someone with 0 HP. So it's
right.
It's like a defibrillator. It's like it brings them back.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a good point, Phil. I played with that. Oh, look at this.
And also it's anyone. Yeah. Also, it's anyone standing around there. So if your buddy's like, someone jumps in, makes a medicine check, fails, you're like, I got this, and you just electrocute them. You're supposed to say clear first.
Using You Dare to play a Sonic Hedgehog game is awesome. We approve.
Yeah, that's great.
I am the Eggman.
Does that make
I
me the
like mad
walrus?
scientist vibes. You are clearly the walrus here. We are the Eggman. Maybe I don't know who's the walrus. Actually, you know what? No, don't tell us, chat. I like a mad scientist vibe. This is if you're gonna put an artificer in there, that's you've opened it up. Give me Frankenstein now. It is spooky season, although it's 90 degrees outside. No, it's not spooky season. That's October. You jerks. You screwed this up. It's the calendar. It happens every year. Anyway, I love a good death burst. This is like you make a weird little homunculus guy, send him into combat, and know he's going to die because he's going to pop when he does because he's only got whatever 5+ hit points. It's cool. I also really like we're seeing an artificer subclass because if you're going to have another class, support it. I mean, I'm not too mad about things being siloed into their own little domains. So if they're only in Eberron, that's cool, but make that very easy for Dungeon Master to emphasize in their D&D Beyond campaign, or acknowledge that you're making everything a big mush and treat it like any other class.
Well, so that is the Reanimator Artificer. We would love to hear about all the weird things that you guys do with it. So moving on in the D&D Baloney category, topic and Vale's new official D&D clothing line. Because, you know, we've had some spirited debate on this show before about D&D Baloney and such things, about the under-monetization of Dungeons and Dragons and how they are combating that. Well, so this is basically it. It's just a kind of a nerd shirt and a nerd cape. But I'll scroll through here. There's the D&D Ranger hoodie, which this is not bad. This is a pretty cool looking hoodie. It just doesn't look like it's worth $60. That does not look like a $60 hoodie. That's more like that's like a $39.99 hoodie.
But you're in the mall because you're at Hot Topic, so everything's $20 more.
I guess I've never been inside a Hot Topic in my life. I only know of the Hot Topic through the social, osmosis. I've never been in one. The D&D Druid Cold Shoulder Dress. So this is like a little dress with some apron action added onto it.
It's very Ren Fair.
Very Ren Fair, yeah. And then the true nerd shit is the Wizard Velvet Cape. A velvet cape.
Yeah, when I first saw Hot Topic was doing clothing line, I was expecting like, Tiamat on a t-shirt, right? Like this is actual like cosplay kind of stuff.
Yeah, same. I was mad that it was on the agenda. It was like D&D baloney bullshit. And then I clicked through and I was like, oh, no, this is the opposite of cowardice. This is bravery. You like D&D? Where's your velvet robe? It's just like I was ready for a t-shirt that was like maybe a screen print if we're lucky, and like it's a druid dress. I do not have the fashion vocabulary to talk about what those sleeves are doing, but like, yeah, that's some Ren Fair shit. And then that kid's wearing a robe. No, like no posers buying it like a Nirvana t-shirt. Like you're pot committed if you're walking into the shop with the velvet, purple, gold filigreed wizard's robe. Yes. Good for
I would
you.
love it if the posers thought dressing like Ren Fair was cool. I would love it if the cool kids were walking around being like, name 3 spells,
I also agree with you. I was like, all right, I could get a Ranger hoodie, $60, but I'm old in inflation.
Yeah, I was excited like a couple years ago when I first saw the D&D Converse, and that you can customize them. You can pick your panels when you pick out your D&D Converse when you order them online. But to customize them, it adds up to like $100 a pair. So I never ordered them.
Yeah. I wonder why they didn't announce this in March in time for Ren Fair season, because Ren Fairs right now all over the world, at least in Colorado, the Ren Fair is in the dead heat of summer. And I don't go. It's in a place called Larkspur. It's awful. There's very little tree cover, and it's like 95 degrees. It's awful.
No, here it's way too swampy in summertime to Ren Fair. Our Ren Fairs don't hit till October.
Oh. Hey, Nacho.
So they
drape yourself in crushed velvet and frolic in the summer heat.
So they did get this out for Ren Fair season in the Southeast. So
okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought they were all in the summer. I don't know. What do you know? Well, moving on. Speaking of more things that I don't know, here's the part of the show where we catch up a little bit, where we just say, "Hey, what's going on?" I'll start this time. In my Curse of Strahd game this week, this feels weird to say, but maybe for the first time ever, everything went right. Like we had a plan, we executed it, we did great, and then we gathered information, did awesome at that, started to execute another plan, and it is going great. We all kind of like didn't want to talk about it. It was so weird. It was like everything that we tried, like we were rolling 20 after 20, and all the things we tried worked. Like we didn't fall for the red herrings the DM threw at us, and afterwards we were like, I don't really know how to feel about all that. Like it was cool. I'm not, it's not like, you worry that if you don't give your players enough stakes, it's going to be boring. Well, it wasn't boring. We had fun because we kicked ass. I threw a fireball at Baba Lasaga's hut, and she's pretty mad at us, but nothing bad has happened yet.
Give it time.
We had to break some hostages free. She was keeping some people. We broke them free. And I threw a fireball at the hut on the way out. I didn't have to do that, but I did it. And so now she's very mad at us. She would have been mad at us anyway. But there were 2 apprentices there, and I had to give them something else to do rather than shoot at the hostages. So it wasn't just total button pushing moment. Like, let's piss off Baba Lysaga. But yeah, that was weird. It was a D&D session where really nothing went wrong. Everything worked out how it was supposed to. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
I don't trust it.
Sounds like the perfect way for the DM to bring in a plot twist next week.
Well, it's a Curse of Strahd campaign. There have been plenty of downbeats. Trust me.
Yeah.
It is a very dour, very difficult place to live.
Yeah, I am always cautious about talking about my Curse of Strahd campaign because we are in the home stretch and I don't want to ruin anything for Jim. But we closed a chapter that we've been in for 5 sessions, right? Like a very or higher level, combat heavy. A different group of characters are walking out than walked in, which I always consider a success. And yeah, we're in the home stretch. On Tuesday, we closed out the Heroes of the Borderland campaign. I have thoughts about it that I still have to collect. I might do a video series on it. It's good, beginner, hand-holdy as a starter set. There's not a lot of meat on the bones. You got to make a story if you really want a story there. And the DM can only do so much. It's a big table in a crowded room with a lot going on and a lot of distractions. So it wasn't my most satisfying campaign conclusion. And I'm okay with that kind of, because I put a lot on the table that didn't get engaged with, and you can only do so much.
Mhm.
And it's really short. Like, a lot of players don't get invested until level 3, level 4, which I think is a missed opportunity. And I told them from the jump, like, all right, this is 3 levels and this is going to have an end. And at the end, they're like, all right, what's next? I want to continue with these characters. It's like, sure. Okay, sure. But, conclusions, endings, season finales. Come on, you got to stick the landing. What do you want to do here? So players, think about that. Not just what you're going to do at the next level up, but like, you might die next session. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, well, if you want to keep, if they want to keep the same characters, you could do the adventures I'm doing, Ryan. You could do Secret of Bone Hill, followed by Assassin's Knot and Deep Dwarven Delve, the classic Lindor Isles from AD&D. You can hit that campaign running at 3rd level. It's because it's an AD&D series. It's definitely more deadly than you would expect for something that's supposed to be for level 2 players. But yeah, that's where I'm at. We're about halfway through the Secret of Bone Hill content, and I just kicked off the big plot twist that sets off the Assassin's Knot adventure, where the Baron gets murdered, and now that they've got to go solve the murder, or at least that's what I kind of railroaded them into. I run a very sandbox style game, and about like midway through the session, I realized I'm like really railroading these guys to go on this murder mystery investigation. But I was just role playing the NPC. Like, that's Peltar the Wizard. That's his motivation. Once he finds out the Baron's dead, he wants you to go solve that murder. And that was the only NPC they were talking to. So I realized halfway through the session, it looks like I'm really railroading them, but like, I'm just in character. So I had to tell them that, like, you guys don't have to go on this quest. Peltar wants you to go on this quest, but there's plenty of other things to do in the sandbox. So I caught myself halfway through because it definitely came across like I was railroading them, but I wasn't. Peltar was.
Mm.
And that's huge being able to say that. Like, I think that's something that like DM advice on the internet kind of pushes against, is afraid to do. Like, oh, you're breaking immersion. Oh, it's metagaming. Like, I think there's a version of like virtuous metagaming, especially from a dungeon master standpoint, where it's like, my job is to provide you with information. And sometimes that's in conflict with the other 17 jobs I'm doing at the moment. So let's just get this out in the open. Yeah, this guy wants you to do it. I don't care what you do. I'm happy to go along for whatever ride, but like, a man was murdered. Let's go.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I've done the pushy quest giver and felt kind of weird about it when the quest giver's like, so you're gonna say yes, right? Because this needs to get done like today. And I've been that guy, and the players be like, no, it's okay. You can say no.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk. Yeah. He's not gonna be happy, but yeah, to this guy, this is the most important thing in the world. So yes, he's gonna be pushy.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's the way the story is written. Peltar is the most powerful wizard in the setting, except for like the two bad guys that are also wizards. And you know, he's the court wizard. Like, he's loyal to the Baron and the Baroness, and Baron gets murdered, and Peltar's like, we gotta solve this murder. You know, that's the way it's written. So, but yeah, there's plenty to do in that setting. They don't have to go to Garrotten, the most blatantly named city in D&D's history.
Yeah.
The city of Garrotten is literally named after a Garrett because it's supposed to be a city full of assassins.
Yeah. So now that we are properly caught up, let's move on. Now we are going to get into, about 36 minutes ago, I promised everyone that we were going to do some spoilers for Critical Role. That time is nigh. So 3, 2, 1. Last week on Critical Role, a thing happened. A PC death happened. It was the first one of Campaign 4, 30 sessions into Campaign 4. The first PC death happened, and it was Travis Willingham's character, Teor. This is Travis's first PC death at the table, I think, if you don't count what's-his-face, Bertram Bell, which that one was designed.
Yeah, that was planned.
He was planned. Travis just didn't know when it would happen, but Travis knew that he was going to get got. But so what happened was the party was split, and Teor, Travis's character, Teor Pridesire, his arc had been trying to locate his brother Sid. And he finally found him, and they were basically in the bowels of the enemy castle. And he made an investigation check and rolled a 13, and the DC was 15, and we know the DC was 15 because it came up multiple times during the rest of the combat that ensued about, why wasn't a 13 good enough, basically. And Brennan said, if you'd rolled a 15, you would have picked the right door. And because Teor turned into the wrong door, he was looking for some gnomes. I didn't really understand that part because I missed a few episodes. But found his way basically into a room full of zombies and a patchwork version of another PC's dead father. It's very strange. There's a lot of macabre crap going on this campaign. It's real weird. I got a nose, mustache hair keeps sticking up my nose and tickling me. Sorry, guys. I'm not picking my nose, I swear. Anyway, so what happened was that combat ensued. The other people were in a separate combat, so they couldn't rush in to help. But essentially, Teor started combat, and his first hit went fantastic. He got the crit. He did the crit Divine Smite. He did so much damage. I've been in that situation before where combat round 1 goes great, and you get a lot of confidence thinking this fight's going to be no problem. And that's usually when all the enemies roll bad in initiative and they're all at the end of the round. and then you get to their turn, and then they just wallop everybody, and you're like, maybe I should reassess how well things are going. Well, anyway, so his combat started off great. He leveled up. Then something weird happened. He leveled up from 4 to 5 in the middle of the combat. Like he said Brendan said, at the end of this round, you will be level 5. And so at the end of the round, he was level 5. And so Travis was like busy reading because he just got Fine Steed, and he had no idea how that was supposed to work. And then essentially, hey, Charles Bartholomew Mortimer, thanks for being a member. So essentially then the combat turned and he was in trouble, and then the questionable things happened. And so the questionable or the things that I don't think they're questionable. I was fine with everything that happened, but there was some internet debate about Brennan was role-playing, was running Tayor's brother Sid as an NPC, and he went over and did some very basic healing, only like a first level cure wound spell. And then Tayor decided to also heal himself. Even though then the big debate was he ended up getting healed for about 20 or 25 hit points, but this patchwork zombie undead guy had already hit him and did something crazy like 40 points of damage in a single hit. And so then the internet discussion was, why did Tayor bother to heal himself? He should have attacked because he still had more divine smites left and he could have finished the guy off. So, there's that age-old debate of what do I do with my one action, right? That happens a lot. Do I bother healing? Do I just attack? Do I help somebody? You get one action most of the time, unless you're a fighter with action surge. And so I don't know what you guys think about this, or I would also like to say that Travis, not upset in the slightest. Travis was giggling like crazy every moment of the way. And he appeared in an after show thing with Laura Bailey, and he said, I'm not mad at Brendan at all. It was I enjoyed it all, every moment of it. Oh, and another thing was there's a homebrew mechanic in this campaign what they call desperate measures, which is anytime your PC is bloodied, they can make a devil's bargain to get extra stuff, and some of the stuff costs a death save fail. And it doesn't refresh on a long rest. It's a permanent death save fail. And Tayor already had one permanent death save fail going into this combat, and he ended up trading his other 2 in that last round to do like max damage or something. I don't remember what it was. But so he had 3 failed death saves, so it was like 0 hit. If he falls to 0, he's completely dead. No death save, straight to dead. So, what do you guys think about it? Do you have any thoughts on this, or on the thoughts on the blowback?
I mean, it sounds like Travis was like pushing it. Like he was trying to make it exciting. If he's negotiating away his death saves, like it sounds like he was having fun.
He kind of had to at that point.
Riding the edge.
At that point, he was surrounded by zombies, so he couldn't escape. He couldn't afford to take opportunity attacks. He couldn't disengage because he was surrounded, so he couldn't move. And his only thought was he was trying to do Fine Steed, but he didn't have a way to get to the steed without taking the opportunity attacks because he couldn't put the steed right next to him because he was surrounded. And then I don't remember, Ryan, did you see that part? What he spent the other 2 failed death saves on? It was something he kind of had no choice at that point. He had to do something.
He maxed out his damage. He hit, he did smite, and he traded 2 failed death saves to take maximum damage on the dice. And he almost got, this Frankenstein, somebody's dad down. But he was still surrounded by zombies with very little health left. It's interesting. Yeah, I think Brad's point of like the player like went in eyes open, spent their death saves. Like you have actually removed some ability to not die outright. considering where they were in the story and in like physically in space within the story, dropping to 0 there would have been probably worse than dying for Tayor. But yeah, Travis went in with eyes open. I think there's a lot of parasocial stuff on the internet. Period. Doubly so with Critical Role. Not everyone who watches Critical Role plays D&D or plays D&D the same way. So the immediate anger that a character died and someone's responsible, and it's definitely not the person playing the character, is wild to me to see the backlash. Like that's how I became aware of it, was like the backlash. It's like, oh, because I'm a little behind on Critical Role too. So like the pitchforks and torches come out because how dare Brennan curtail this character's story arc without a satisfying conclusion. It's like, this is a life and death battle. And if you can't lose, then it's no longer a game. Why do we roll dice about things? And also like, oh, that's a lot less interesting of a pastime and an entertainment piece to be watching. So like, I think it was great. I think it was peak D&D. That's my take. That's what's up. You want those stakes. Brennan's rolling in the open. He's like, look, I am taking away my ability to fudge anything. Like what's happening here is what the universe is saying happens. Like for me, that's it. That's the kind of D&D that I enjoy watching and participating in.
Yeah, I don't use a DM screen either. Like I let the dice decide. Well, I mean, I let the players decide, and then the dice do the rest. Right? That's that's the type of game I run. I mean, I've run the game for years. Back in the '90s, where I was like kit gloves, didn't want them. Characters basically had plot armor. I'd roll behind the screen, and I'd nerf rolls or not deal critical hits. Because I wanted to make sure the characters lived. And it just wasn't as fun. Like once I took away the DM screen and started rolling in the open, it pushed my improv skills because I had to like figure out like what happens next when the dice do the most unlikely thing, and and it's made me a better DM, and I think it's made for better adventures and better stories at my table. Not trying to curtail things. 100% definitely has made the game better.
And as a player, like if I smell that the DM is pulling punches, is if I don't want to play in a fixed game where I know I'm gonna win. That like sucks a lot. Like I don't know, that sucks the challenge out of it if we're playing like a strategic combat heavy game. And I don't know, it sucks the interest out of it if we're playing a narrative heavy game. And I want to do both at once. And it goes against both sides of that.
Yeah, Nacho says death save rolls are one of the most exciting parts of the game. It's one of the few parts of the game that has real stakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because until you're at 0 hit points, it's all theoretical.
Yep. And I think I really blame 3rd edition for like I don't blame like current WotC or the current culture for this idea that every encounter needs to be balanced. I feel like that came, that rose to popularity during 3rd edition because 3rd edition was so gamified. There was a rule for everything, and everything was balanced. And they tried to, like, if you actually look at the design of 5th edition and really 4th edition, monsters and player characters run on different rules, right? It was 3rd edition that tried to make everything run on the same set of rules to the point where you could take a monster. There were in the Dungeon Master's Guide, there was guidance on how to do this. You could take a monster and give that monster character levels. Like there was actually a math formula, and you could level up your monsters by making them a 3rd level fighter on top of the fact that they were a bullywug, right? And and like the idea of this like sacred encounter that everything is balanced for the level of the players. I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Whoa.
it's it doesn't make the game better.
Guys, do we need a soundboard? Should we go like Shock Jock, Morning Zoo, like spice it up a little bit?
This is what we're looking for.
Hot take. Yeah.
And counterbalance is bullshit. That's my hot take.
Counterbalance is bullshit. And it's an illusion. You think 5e is balanced? Like, it's not an even playing field. Like, you're supposed to be coming into this difficult fight with 5 fights under your belt since the last long rest. All right. So first of all, shut up. Second of all, there's a lot of things that the DM is never going to do, like skip your turn. Like, if I got a monster who's got an ability, like, it's very rare. If I'm trying to keep it a social encounter or something, that's when I'll pull out hold person, banishment. Like, otherwise, we all know if the dungeon master stuns a character, paralyzes a character, like, that's kind of, that feels unfair. Where like, I get to do one thing an hour in this complex, bogged down system, and you're going to take that away from me. That sucks. But also, I'm going to run a monk, and I'm going to get 4 at bats every turn to try to stunning strike your monsters. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, balanced. Yeah, definitely.
Shivering up the wrong timber. Yeah, I see what you did there. So I want to skip the next thing about the Prime Day deals. Nobody cares. It's Prime Day is going on right now. I think today's the last day. So if you buy books from Amazon, you could probably find some of them cheaper.
Hey everybody, if you have a presence on the internet, Amazon gets so far up your butt in the week or two leading up to Prime Day so that you can make a couple pennies off a couple sales. And I don't know.
I thought it was always in July, but I don't know.
I just take offense to the idea, like, oh, it's a holiday. This is an important, cool thing that everyone cares about. It's like, no, it's a sale. This is a sale.
It started with Toyotathon and Honda Days, and people started memeing those as if they were holidays. And the brand said, "Oh, really? Okay, so that's cool. We could do that. That's cool." And so
no, get out of here, Bezos. Go back to space.
Well, and the internet took away Black Friday, right? So
now it's Black Friday month. Like, what the heck is that? Black Friday month?
Yep. So everybody's trying to replace Black Friday with something.
Yeah. First is Black Friday, then Cyber Monday. Remember Cyber Monday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When it was like one day.
That was the beginning of the end.
And people got tired of being trampled, I think. People got tired of being trampled. It was a lot easier to just stay in your pajamas.
It gets old getting trampled. You do it once or twice, and you're like, why am I for a television? I already have a television.
Nacho says Curse of Strahd's only $10 on D&D Beyond.
Oh, happy Prime days. Go to D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we're 2 out of 3 of us are playing Curse of Strahd, and it's good. It needs work. I got it as a dungeon master organizationally. Woo! There's a lot of stuff, and it's not always easy to find, but it's a good time. Maybe do it if you like.
I mean, I've held off reading it for so long, and I attempted to play it a couple of times, and I haven't run it, and I always wondered, why did everyone say it's a classic? And I think I understand now. It's a really solid adventure in that there is a central threat. Everyone knows what it is. It's not a mystery what the stakes are. The stakes are very clear. The problem is ever present. It's present in everything. Strahd's presence is everywhere. It's impossible to not hate him because he's everywhere. And then, but there's a gaggle of players who they're very sandboxy kind of players who could be allies, who can be enemies, and they all have their own interests and they have their own goals and they have their own stakes and their own reasons for hating or loving or acquiescing to Strahd. It's just like, it feels real, you know, like, and it just feels very real, very simple. Strahd's super evil. We've seen him do evil stuff in the campaign. It's not like Lost Man and Phandelver where the bad guy is this mysterious black spider who you don't meet till the very end, or Age of Vecna where the bad guy's Vecna who you don't meet till the very end. You know, like it's just a well-made adventure, and then they know what works. What works is that you have to want to kill Strahd, and so they make you want that at the very beginning, and it's just smart. And there's constantly being reminded of how strong and how powerful and how difficult the challenge it is. So I think that's why it's a classic. That's my take on basically playing half of it so far.
You sold me on it. Now I want to run it, Jim.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Good villain, in your face, up front. I also think it really benefits from being small. Like, it's focused. It is one thing. You know what genre you're in. You know where you are. Like, it's a sandbox. There's plenty of places to go, but it's not just like, you know what? Let's go from New York to LA and investigate a whole other thing with a whole other cast of characters and a whole other menagerie of monsters. It's like, no, you're in a horror movie. You're not leaving Barovia. Go.
Yeah, very much. So we're skipping the Prime Day stuff. So now here's part of the show where we make a thing. I don't think we don't have a whole lot of time to make a thing. But this was shared to me, the dungeon checklist from Goblin Punch. Whereas the 7 things, or is it 8? 7 things every dungeon needs: something to steal, something to be killed, something to kill you, different paths, someone to talk to, something to experiment with, and something the players probably won't find. Is there one more? No, it's those 7.
Yeah, and this is a good alternative to the 5-room dungeon. Like, what's nice about the 5-room dungeon is conceivably you can get through it in one session, but you use this checklist of 7 things to build your dungeon. It's a solid approach, and a good alternative to the 5-room dungeon for sure.
So I was thinking maybe we can apply this lens to our ongoing Tortle Power, Bard College, Chernobyl situation and expand upon that.
So would this be the dungeon under the Bard College or the other dungeon that's under the tavern where the guy is doing the weird Fey portal stuff?
Ooh, interesting. Let's do that because that's smaller. It feels like
Starter dungeon.
Something to steal.
Because Ryan, you're the keeper of the notes. Refresh my memory. What did we tell us about the Grog's Chris's Steakhouse? I don't remember everything that was there.
Grog's Chris's Steakhouse. He is serving some interdimensional beef cheek, which may or may not be centaur, but you made a joke about how whenever you play this with your son, it becomes about butts. So I made this one about butts. There is a portal that he's going through to get his cheap meats, which is why it's so delicious and so affordable. And that portal is slowly getting wider and wider and letting more and larger things through to this side. And we were kind of going back and forth. This guy went to the Bard College, was a dropout at the Bard College, Clearly, he wasn't there when whatever magical disaster happened to turn it into the mega dungeon that we will revisit at a later date. But he has learned just enough, or perhaps secreted away some magic item that allows him to have this portal. And actually, Cultural Products said that it's sort of like a the Bard College was using it as Spotify. You just like tune in to get different genres of music, which I was actually quite partial to. So maybe that's the intended use or the label use, and we're off label now, but getting Centaur butt. But yeah, that's the gist.
So we're using that as like the intro quest where there's like a red cap running around this town, and no one knows how it got there. And then it turns out that it came through the Fey portal. So do we put the Fey portal like in the dungeon underneath the steakhouse? Like there's a 5 or 7 room dungeon, like a basement that's been expanded into something from a previous owner.
Yeah, I think that works as a good starter dungeon for the beginning of the module. We're calling it that.
I just had a flash of like a industrial refrigerator. Like if anyone's been in a restaurant, like a walk-in fridge, there's this like something in the back of your mind when you open that door, because it's like a vault, it's like a bank vault. And when you open it and you go in there, you're like, I'm gonna get trapped in here. I don't know if it's because I watched The Shining at an early age or something, but there is something very intimidating about those things. And like if it's not your restaurant, you're not going in there. So I see this like big metal, perhaps medieval coated door where you assume there's going to be like racks of meat hanging up in an ice box, and it's the entrance to this subterranean dungeon. Love a good door.
Love it. So what if in the basement there's a freezer, right? So it's like a walk-in. And then, but beyond that, is where the Fey portal is, and these Fey creatures are actually remaking his basement. Like on the other side of that walk-in is not a dingy basement. Maybe it's like a fucking forest or something. I don't know, something like they've clearly been at work on the other side of there, and so he can't even go in there anymore to get the meat. Maybe. Because like they've taken over.
Yeah, I like that.
Then we can have each room be different.
Right, because it's quirky and weird, and it's little pocket dimensions of the Feywild, right?
Yeah.
So the something to steal. Like, what are we stealing? Like, what kind of Fey creature are we stealing from?
I like the idea of a red cap just like causing havoc, and then you get him down to like bloodied, and he convinces you he's a leprechaun and that there's a pot of gold for you to go get in the basement there. And like, well, maybe there is. Maybe it's not his. Because you can't go wrong with, especially early on, right? If this is like an early level 2, level 3, it's like somebody's saving up for plate mail. Like, yeah, there's a pot of gold at the end of this set of basement stairs.
Right. So whenever the party catches up to the red cap, if they either talk to it or at some point during combat, the red cap can go, wait, don't kill me. I'll tell you where the gold is. I'll tell you where the gold is if you let me go.
You can get my Lucky Charms. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't have an accent 2 minutes ago. What's going on?
Something.
Yeah, or the leprechaun is the red cap's brother. He'll betray his brother's gold if you let him live.
Oh. Something to steal, something to be killed. Yeah, there's red caps running around in the basement, and some of them have gotten out.
I think somewhere when we were rolling the dice, I think was that I don't know, somewhere in the creation process, we mentioned the concept of a nightmare bear, like some like creature from the Feywild that was causing the people of the village to have nightmares.
Okay.
Yes,
So
that
maybe
was the central tension. Yeah.
So,
Right.
So maybe that the bear's lair is here, and you kill the bear, and that stops the people in the town from having their nightmares.
All right. So yeah. So it's the nightmare bear. It's the nightmare bear's lair. Nightmare bear. Nightmare bear's lair.
Nightmare bear.
Nightmare bear. And the red caps are. Maybe the red caps are at war with the bear. Maybe the red caps like can't. Maybe the red caps are trying to come through the portal and the bear keeps killing them. So as you're going through, maybe there's not a lot of red caps in the dungeon, because if this is a starter dungeon, you can't put too many red caps in there anyway. You know, just a couple of them will be too much for a level 1 or level 2 party. But if there's a bunch of dead red caps,
well, because red caps are also like the spirit of vengeance, right? Like something happened, like blood has been spilt if there's red caps. So like maybe they were leprechauns, and now enough of them have gotten got by the nightmare bear that this hat was green before all of it was washed in the blood of my brethren, and now I also like the idea of them like tiptoeing past the sleeping nightmare bear with their like big weird metal boots on. Yeah, I like it. I also would have, I don't know if this is the thing they don't find or this is just a bonus soften them up fight, but some sort of ooze reskinned as like leftovers gone wrong, just like the Tupperware in the fridge that has gone on, you know, it's like poison spores coming out of it or something. It's like a black mold ooze.
nice. Yes.
What if because this is a restaurant or tavern, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if there's like a mirror image of the tavern? Like once you cross near this portal, or either through the portal, or the things that are coming through the portal are reshaping this underground area below it. So like there's a Fey like whimsical version of the steakhouse. So it's like it looks just like the steakhouse, but everything's mirror imaged. And
the walk-in door is the point where it flips.
Yeah.
Well, that's easier on the map maker. We
Right.
just have two copies of the same map.
And then so whatever, there's a Fey alternative to the restaurant owner, right? So we said the restaurant owner is kind of like dense, right? He failed out of the Bard College. He has access to the portal, and the only thing he's using it for is cheap meat. So maybe
he just has different priorities, man. I mean, you don't have to judge the guy. Maybe he's just, or no, he's dumb.
That just made me think about number 6 here, something to experiment with. If we have a mirror copy, if we have, like a Feywild mirror, that gives us a lot of room for puzzles. Right? Like if you manipulate something in the tavern, then its counterpart needs to be manipulated in the Fey copy.
It's given Zelda. It's given, you got to go back. You got to rearrange. You have to like unlock the door from the tavern side to get in there from the Fey side, or vice versa. I like that a lot. Something to experiment with.
When you said something to experiment with, I thought there was going to be like a kitchen full of weirdness.
Also that.
Like you could mix and match the concoctions in the kitchen to create potions, or so you mix the stuff in the blue bottle with the stuff in the red bottle, and maybe you get like a potion of etherealness, or maybe it blows up in your face. Like there's.
So what if that's something like the potion ingredients are in the Fey one, but you don't know what they are. You have to identify them by finding the regular counterpart ingredients in the regular tavern kitchen. It's like nothing is labeled in the Fey copy. There's just a bunch of potions that are maybe literally flying around, like bottles of stuff that are flying around, and you need to combine them for some reason. Or maybe the players just might want to combine them, but nothing is labeled, and there's a counterpart in the regular kitchen.
That would be funny. Like that could be a whole like design session where we figure out like what are the ingredients of barbecue sauce and what is the D&D equivalent of barbecue sauce, right? So, you know, so you go into the real world kitchen and you find the different components to barbecue sauce, and you go and find the matching bottles on the face side, and you mix those together. That creates a potion of, I don't know, what's the D&D equivalent of barbecue sauce?
All dressed is the best. if you haven't had all dressed, it's everything. Get it. That's my Prime Day recommendation. Get yourself some all dressed potato chips.
But
so, something to kill you. We have the nightmare bear. Different paths. Well, it would be a mirror of the tavern.
So if we're doing that, I feel like there's got to be like there's a wardrobe upstairs or something. There's like an alternate way to get it. Like he's been using one door, like in his own like private suite upstairs through the wardrobe. There's a gate to the Fey version of this tavern, and because he's a little dense, he has inadvertently taken too many potions out of the Fey kitchen, concocted them in his kitchen, and put them in the walk-in fridge. And like now he doesn't go in there anymore because that's also a gate to the Feywild, but like the subterranean Feywild. And like, who knows what's down there? Could be nightmare bears down there.
And he's running low on that centaur meat, so it's beginning to be a real problem.
Yeah, so I think I finished my thought. Like, so like Grog has his what he calls his strong sauce, right? Which is like his, some sort of spicy sauce that he puts on the ribs or meat that he serves. If you match the Fey version of those ingredients from the Grog's kitchen to the Fey kitchen, you get a potion of heal giant strength, something like that.
Oh, that's good.
Or like fire breathing. Fire breathing hot sauce.
Yeah, so there's like strong sauce and hot sauce, and
heck yeah,
some whatever the D&D version of ranch dressing is, right? And then that translates to so you got your potion of fire breath, your potion of giant strength, and a potion of whatever.
Or if you can get the PCs to eat at the tavern, if you can actually get them to consume some of that centaur meat, then maybe they're now infected somehow with some kind of like Fey tracer. It's like a Fey GPS tracker that's put on them. And to undo it, they need to recreate the dish in the Fey kitchen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We need if you want to cure this Fey tracer, you need to make baby back ribs in the Fey kitchen.
It's nice too because it's playing with the trope of like you don't eat the food in Fairy. Like when you cross over, if a morsel touches your lips, you're fucked. So like, no. Here's the recipe, but like I don't have all the ingredients. You got to get some from the other side. Actually, maybe that's it. Maybe you need ingredients from the other side, but you got to cook it in my kitchen because if you make it in the Feywild, you're stuck or whatever. Or
you're cursed.
You're cursed.
So really the only thing we need left is someone to talk to.
Oh, well, that's where I was going with the fact that like the Grog is kind of dense, the opposite of Grog in the Feywild is super clever, but very elusive. Like he kind of talks.
Chris is Grog. Grog's Chris, and Chris is Grog.
Yeah. So Chris is actually, super clever. Some elf from the Feywild who talks in riddles, and but if you're kind to him and take your time and play his riddle game or whatever, then he'll explain all that stuff, how to break the curse. You got to go to the kitchen. He'll kind of handhold you through all that stuff.
And there'll be a couple of living red caps, I would think, terrified, just talking about the bear. We can't escape the bear. Where's the portal? We can't find the portal. We've lost the portal. And now we have to deal with the bear. Oof.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the bear isn't really evil. Maybe it's just a bear from the Feywild. There's really nothing special about him other than he's a brown bear that comes from the Feywild. Maybe it's the curse. All the villagers eat at Grog's restaurant, right? So, so when they eat Grog's meat, they get cursed, and the curse actually connects them to the bear.
Yeah.
Right. So the bear's just trying to hibernate and sleep, and he keeps getting awakened by red caps, who he's like, well, shit, I might as well eat one while I'm awake, and then goes back to sleep, and he's just sharing his nightmares with anybody who's eaten the meat. In fact, maybe that's what the meat is. Instead of some kind of meat, it's actually bear meat. Maybe Grog butchered this bear's mate.
And so he's in the Fey Tavern, and as the portal is opening wider and wider, it's letting out more of those nightmares into the townspeople. And so that's why people are getting sicker. Like maybe at first it was just the oldest people in town were experiencing nightmares, and now then middle-aged people, and then young people, and now it's everyone as that portal is opening wider. I didn't realize the time. We got to wrap this up.
Ooh, time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're making a steakhouse, making a steakhouse in the Feywild.
I just wanted it to be known that in the minutes I just wrote, eat Grog's meat.
Eat Grog's meat. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up now. I said I was going to tell that story. I don't know if it's as good a story as I thought. I don't know if it's as good a story as I thought it was last week.
We were talking about it on the Discord.
Because it was one of those things, like, it happened a long time ago, and I forgot about it for a long time, and then it was just one day I remembered it, and I was like, how could I have forgotten that story? It was like one of those, then like resurfaced, and then I was thinking about it. I'll tell it really quick. Okay, when I was a junior in high school, I had this friend named Iggy. His real name was Billy, but we called him Iggy. Very, very weird. Kind of so weird that he was popular because like people wanted to see what he would do next. Well, our junior year in high school, me and Iggy and a few friends whose names aren't important to the story, we took LSD and we went to our high school to go watch our high school play. I don't remember what the play was, but that's not the point of the story.
It's important for me to know.
The fact that we were on LSD is important to the story. But so after the play, we're walking out of the play, and Iggy goes, "Hey, could somebody give me a ride downtown? There's a show. There's a band playing, and I think it'd be fun." And we're all like, "Yeah, let's go downtown." So we go downtown to this like speakeasy kind of thing, where we go in, and there's a bunch of teenage kids from a different school. None of us recognized anybody, and there was a little stage. There's a drummer, guitar player, bass player, and a microphone stand. And then so I'm standing next to Iggy, and he takes out a bunch of index cards and he starts flipping through them. And I'm on acid. I can't really read, but it looks like poetry maybe or something like that. So he's flipping through these cards, and we're all just kind of standing there like wondering when the band's going to start. And then Iggy goes, "This will take about an hour." And he steps up on stage, grabs the microphone, and goes 2, 3, 4, and the band all start playing. And we're all like, "Is this really how? Are we supposed to get up there too? What's happening?" It was just really weird. So apparently, Iggy had been in a band with these kids from his old school for months and didn't tell anybody about it, and decided to spring it on us while we were tripping on acid. You know, he was like, "Hey, can somebody give me a ride downtown?" No big deal. And, you know, so he was in the band. And so they play the whole set. And Iggy kept looking at the index cards. The index cards are central to the story. He kept looking at the index cards where they had song lyrics on them, right? And he's, you know, he's on acid. He didn't really perform very well. It wasn't a good show. He was off. He was late on a lot of lines and stuff. But they played the whole set, and then afterward he came down and he was like, "Hey, what's up? What'd you think?" And we're like, "That was crazy." And then a couple guys from the band, the guitar player and the bass player, come over, and they are seething. They're like fuming right at Iggy. And he's looking at him like, "What's the deal?" And they go, "What's up with the index cards, man? You said you weren't going to do that again." And he's like, I don't know. They're like, "It looks unprofessional." We're all like 17, right? It's unprofessional. You know, we know our music parts. Why can't you memorize the lyrics? And then Iggy, he takes the cards, throws them up so they fly like confetti all over the room. And he goes, "I'm an artist. I'll do whatever the fuck I want." Screaming it in this room of like 40 kids. They fired him from the band right then. And then Iggy said, "Should we go to Denny's?" And we went to Denny's. So that's the story of Iggy and the index cards.
Iggy and the index cards is the name of our next band.
Iggy and the index cards.
Like, have you ever had a friend who you didn't know was in a band and he decided to let you know while you were on LSD by just jumping up on stage, acting like he was hijacking it?
That's pretty dope, actually.
Yeah.
I never had anybody do that. We did have a kid in my school who nobody knew his real name. Everybody called him Pee Wee because he looked like Pee Wee Herman. Of course, I was a kid. Pee Wee Herman was still popular, and he Pee Wee was not popular because he was like super cool. Pee Wee was popular because he was weird, and everybody just was waiting to see what he would do next. But the end of Pee Wee's story is nowhere near as cool as Iggy's. So it's a story I probably can't tell on.
Well, fair enough.
But Pee Wee ended up locked up at a mental hospital for quite some time.
Yeah, so did Iggy. Iggy spent quite a bit of time institutionalized. Anyway, hey Pittsburgh Pat, welcome in. You're coming in right at the end, but anyway, we gotta go. I gotta go get my kid, so I'm gonna hit the button to end the stream. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. We love you. We'll see you later.